up, what up? It's your boy King Jockwell Martin back with another episode of Whisper to Your Soul. Got something special for y'all today. I got the Queen Bee in the building, the Queen of Fashion, a family friend, somebody that I look up to, who is also going to help me out with the Whisper to Your Soul clothing line. Yeah, we got some clothes that's going to come real soon, you feel me? So I wanted to give y'all a little secret sauce on this. She is an amazing spirit, an amazing person, and I can't wait for y'all just to vibe out with her. I want to welcome y'all to the stage, Whispering to Your Soul, my girl, Miss Revine. What up, boo?
Hi, boy. So glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
So, tell us on Whispering to Your Soul, who is Miss Revine? Tell us a little bit about your bio.
Okay, well, I am a self-taught artist and designer. I am, above all, a mother. You met my son. Shout out to Maserati.
Shout out to Maserati. Mozzie in the building. What up, though, baby? We gotta get you on the show. Yeah, man.
That's my baby. But yes, and I'm an artist in my spirit and through and through.
I love that. So, I mean, growing up, we always discover different things about ourselves, right? And our purpose, our calling, the things that we love. How did you discover yourself being an artist, and what was it like to be like going through the process of being self-taught?
You know, I've always loved art. I've always been fascinated by it, and for me, art it speaks life. You know, it always reached to me and always talked. It always talked to me.
Yeah.
And when I started painting, because I'm a veteran with PTSD.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was part of my therapy, and I never thought anybody would want them. You know, I would finish painting, and I would just, because it was therapy, I would just throw it out.
Yeah.
You know. And then they were coming up missing people. I told my son, I say, people are taking our trash. And he said, Mom, every time you put a picture out there.
Wow.
Yeah, your neighbors take it. I guarantee you, they have one of your pictures in every house in this block.
You're telling me that you were just at home doing something that you loved in your creative mindset.
Yes.
And when you were done with it, you were done with it, and you would just throw it away.
Yeah, because it was therapy for me. Yeah.
But that makes that quote so true. That someone else's trash could be someone else's treasure.
Absolutely.
So what you thought was just therapy was something priceless and inspiring for someone else.
Absolutely. And the other way around, just like you said, someone's trash is someone else's treasure.
Yeah.
I love upscaling. I love taking old canvases or old whatever that somebody discarded and thought wasn't worth anything or wasn't beautiful anymore, and I love taking it and reintroducing it back.
Now, is that something that you've always done since you were young? Or is that something that you discovered on the way?
No, I think there's something I discovered along the way, but I think it's something I've always done. As far as people, I've always been an encourager. People who I see that others put down, others discard or see as nothing. I've always been an encourager, and I guess it just poured into the art the same thing.
Okay, so here's a good question for you. What was it like when, one, your son discovered that everyone else was taking your artwork for you? And what was it like when you got the first compliment about your artwork? Like, this is actually amazing.
You know, still today, I don't see amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I was, Dwayne, I love the fact that I can see that he's proud of me.
I love that.
And so that's worth anything. That's worth more than any sale or anything.
Yeah.
You know, but I remember being in a gallery, and I was another guy, Moin Maniac, outstanding artist, and he's a realist. You know, you see it, it look like you're looking at a picture.
What was his name?
Moin Maniac. Shout out to
Moin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already knew.
Yes. And my pictures were on side of his, and we were standing there side by side, and he told me, he said, you know, I hate when they put your pictures next to mine, because mine looks so boring. And I told him, I said, I hate when they put my pictures next to yours, because mine look like a kid did it, you know, but art is art, and his is so beautiful. Yes, and to me, it's I'm just more expressing, and I guess I see more of the process than I do see the finished product, and people just see the finished product without the process.
So one, that's a bar. First bar of the day, we gonna talk about it. And this is how we gonna get deep on Whispers on y'all show, because you know we talk that talk, right? So 2 parts, right? The first thing that you said was really, really beautiful and really, really awesome. How both of you guys could see the paintings from 2 different perspectives. And his perspective of your painting and your perspective of his perspective, even though they were on 2 different pendulums and 2 different platforms, it could be powerful. And that's why I created this show. Because what if I reworded it like this? Appreciate you, God, for the download.
Yes.
What if I said, each person that comes on the show is a different replica of a painting.
Yes.
And each conversation of someone else's testimony is a way to resonate to the person who's watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who's watching the show, someone might see a kid artist,
Yes.
and someone might see the
Yes.
details and the
Yes.
beauty of
Absolutely.
it. And that's why I love having different people come on the show, because different people get to be different paintings in different
Yeah.
situations
Yeah.
to bring out different parts of all of us, because we're all in this thing called life together.
Absolutely.
And every portion of life, it's okay to be different.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we get to discover different sides of ourselves that we didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
because we only got to see it from our perspective.
And that's
Right?
another thing, if I may jump in there, that's another
Yeah.
thing that I love about art. A lot of my pictures, some of them come with stories, but I love that the viewer, the way they perceive the art tells you so much about them. You
Yeah.
know, and I always ask people, what do you see? I do a lot of abstract, and what do you see? And they have different things that they say, and I love that, and it
Yeah.
tells a lot. Yeah.
See, I think because I'm a filmmaker, I'm a director as well. So when we create film, we see it from our lens.
Mm-hmm.
But when we give the film away, it's no longer that we can run around and tell
Mhm.
everyone our viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be okay with giving your baby away and allowing it to be judged for someone else's viewpoint of how it made them feel. And be okay with them expressing how it made them feel, instead of trying to control the narrative, saying, no,
Mhm.
this is what
Mhm.
I felt.
Mm-hmm.
No, here's a funny example. You ever played Uno before?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, black people, we be stacking. Draw two on top of draw
Right,
two.
right,
you gotta
right,
draw
right,
8,
right,
whatever,
right,
right? But then Uno comes out and says, no, the official Uno rules is you cannot stack. And we like, psh, what? Uno, you can't tell us how to play.
Right.
We've been stacking for years. By humbug, we gonna keep doing it our
Right,
way.
right.
And I feel like that's how art is. That's how life is. That someone might put something out there into the world, but it's not even yours anyway, because the world is going to judge it and perceive it however they perceive it.
Right.
And it's
right.
okay for you to take notes, but it's also okay to be free with the judgment and allowing people to say whatever they're going to say about it.
Right. And for me, you have to see it as a seed.
Yeah.
You know, it's as a seed that's been planted, and you don't know whether, you know. I think of it as a magical seed.
Okay.
Because the seed is planting, and that's the artwork. Somebody else might come and it's growing lemons, and somebody else might come and it's growing roses.
Yeah.
You know. So, and that's what I love about the art. Everybody has their own perception of what they see and how they feel about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's about, provoking
Yes.
the feelings and getting people to look at themselves.
And see, in my world, the seed could be the mirror, because I want people to look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not here to change nobody, but if I can get you to question your own thought process and how you see yourself. Have you ever heard of this?
It's always a mirror.
Right?
It's always a mirror.
Have you ever heard of this thing called I beam? It's like seeds with inscriptions on it.
Mm-mm.
And so what they do is they take these seeds that have love, power, whatever word they inscribed on the seed, they plant it, they water it, they nurture it, it grows.
Okay.
And when it grows, on the leaves of the plant are all the inscribed words. So,
Are you
which is
serious?
amazing, right?
It comes out that way.
Yes, it comes out that
I
way.
would love to have one.
Got you, say less,
Yes.
right? The funny thing is they did a test about it where they took positive words and then on the inscription,
Right.
let this plant grow until its fullest potential.
Right.
And they took one with negative words and they let it grow to its fullest potential. The problem was the one with the negative words died, and the one that had the positive
Say
words
that.
grew to the fullest.
Say
So
that.
that reminds me of there's life and death in how we speak,
The earth
not just to
declares the
ourselves,
glory, yes.
right, but to our artwork and to
Yes.
how we evaluate things and
Yes.
how we can speak life and death and curses with what
Yes.
we see.
Yes.
When we're judging someone's painting, when we're judging someone's artwork, when we're judging a movie, a song, or whatever else, how are you conveying your energy into the world? Is it giving life over something, or are you speaking negative over something? You know what I mean? And I think
Absolutely.
that's like really intriguing
Absolutely.
to think outside the box to make us feel like, how do I talk?
Mm-hmm.
What type of energy do I? What type of seeds am I planting into the world?
And how do I really feel about me? A lot of the times,
Yeah.
because it speaks volumes, and I love it. And that's one of the things I love about art too, because I'll be more antisocial, and I'm not necessarily antisocial, but I'm more of a watcher.
Yeah.
And so when they come and I watch them around the art, and I could see their faces, you know, because the colors are my colors. I can't get away from them. They're usually vibrant. You'll never see a beige, you know, with a beige flower. That's just not me. I'm always having lots of colors, but it always draws people in. And then people, every time they come to one of my paintings, they always tell me how they feel.
Right.
They never say, well, I see this. Like, well, I feel and that's wonderful to me.
I think the beautiful thing is Pixar. You've heard
Mm.
of Pixar before? They've discovered that. In Disney, they've discovered that because colors have power
Mhm.
and have meaning and have
Mhm.
frequencies.
Mhm.
And this is why they put it in children's films. And when you
Mhm.
watch a
Right.
children's film, it displays a lot of
Right.
different colors to keep children
Mhm.
engaged.
Mhm.
And that children, for me, this is just my perspective, I believe have more freedom because they're not clogged by all the things that society tries to
Mhm.
bog them down
Mhm.
with. So when you understand the power of colors and marketing and everything else, then you can control, to a certain extent, the feeling that comes across in a romantic scene or in a dark
Mhm.
scene.
Mhm.
Have you ever noticed, like, when the villain comes out, everything goes dark?
Mhm.
Or when someone's in love, then they use the red.
Mhm.
Or if
Mhm.
something's supposed to be clean, they use
Right,
white.
right,
And
right,
all these different
right.
things are programming to condition you to feel a certain type of
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
So I think when you talk about when people come up to you and explain the colors, the way you put the colors into it creates
Right,
a different
right,
feeling that comes
right,
out of them.
right.
And that's how they can tell you, hey,
Right.
this piece made me feel like this or
Right.
da da this and da da da.
It has to be
Yes.
aesthetically pleasing first,
Mhm.
you know. But I've had some who were disturbingly
Mm-mm.
pleasing. I did one and I called her Fury, and I used modeling paste and other mixed media, but she actually came off the canvas, and I wanted her to look like she was older than Methuselah. You know, and and all you saw was the face coming out of the darkness
Right.
and the hands that was on the poles coming
Yeah.
out. And I remember one, another artist, he said, I can't even look at it.
Mm.
But a guy who owns the gallery, and you know, he bought it just looking at the picture of the painting because I was sending him what I was
Right.
bringing to the gallery. He didn't even put it out. He just bought it there.
Yeah.
You know, but so it you have to be, especially with you, it leaves you questioning yourself or looking at yourself, even if you don't say anything to the artist at all.
Right.
You know, I know that because the paintings themselves are provocative.
It's interesting because people don't really believe, from my perspective, that the transference of energy is real,
Oh yes.
even in artwork.
Oh yes.
Because a lot of people don't even understand the Easter eggs that artists put in the artwork, the hidden
Mhm.
messages, the
Mhm.
subliminals,
Exactly.
the different symbols and signs and
Exactly.
things. Like, okay, this is for my people, right? For those who get it, and for those who don't. At one point in time, we didn't just speak English, we used hieroglyphics.
Mm-hmm.
And hieroglyphics have different languages
Right.
and different signs and different
Right.
symbols with different meanings.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of artists understand this and
Right.
they'll be able to put little signs that you have to be able to discover if you're actually paying attention
Mhm.
enough. Because a lot of times it's sitting right there in your face. But
Mhm.
because you're so busy looking at the whole picture as a whole,
Right.
that you miss the finite details.
Right.
And that's why there's this quote where they say the devil is in the
It's in
details.
detail.
And a lot of us miss the details because we're only too busy looking
Right.
at the finish line and we're not looking at the actual race that got the person to the finish line.
Now, a perfect example, I have a painting called The Wave.
Okay.
Now, if you look at it, it's a whole bunch of buildings, and you see a wedding procession, and I'm finishing it, but it's a wedding procession coming by, and then there's people in the sidewalk. But the whole painting, you would think it's about the wedding and the thing, but it's not. It's about a little girl that's in the corner, and she's waving at the. Now, I can do the write up for it,
Mm-hmm.
but you would miss her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the whole painting is about her.
Yeah.
It's about how she saw somebody who looked like her,
Yeah.
who looked like a princess, and it changed her whole perception of herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and sometimes I'm happy just leaving the details in there with just me knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it just, and those who see it, it's good, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's just me.
You know, even, they even do that in music, man.
Yes.
Like, I'll use Kendrick Lamar as an example.
Mm.
Kendrick, when it comes to his production and the things that he says without saying things, not what's in the verse,
Mm-hmm.
but what's in what you see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think they did the GNX tour or whatever else, and then he brought out the red GNX, but people didn't pay attention that the red GNX wasn't there.
Right.
And then they brought it out, and then they said it. Like, people do certain things for certain reasons, and the question is for those who will pay attention or who will do the research to find out why and what is
That
what.
part.
A lot of
That
times
part.
we don't want to do the research,
Right.
and then we just observe and
Right.
we enjoy the show, but we don't get into the
Give me
details
the
of what is
footnotes
what.
enough to get. Anywho, yeah.
That's the good. So okay, so like I'm doing this movie, right? I have a movie poster. It's entitled "Am I in a Domestic Violent Relationship with America?" Right? And in this
Love it.
movie poster, I have some Easter eggs in it. Like before the D, I have a pistol. Before at the end of it, I have the Alabama broadshear. I have the flag ripping apart. I have holes, bullet holes in the stars. Now, if you do the research, you'll understand why I put those things in there, because they're not there by chance.
Right.
There's meaning behind it, and even in the title, some people get it, some people don't get it. Why would you compare domestic violence and America? Well, when you watch the movie and the film and you listen to the speech, you'll understand. But what you won't understand is the beginning of what inspired me to write it in the first place. But if you actually do your research on me, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, there's a book out already.
And so you got to get the book.
But if you do the book, you do the research, and then you watch the film and everything else that led up to this moment, then all of a sudden it'll be the, oh my God, I see the little girl waving. I understand why King Jaco did what he did and what this actually means to this person, even though I interpreted it this way. Because it's okay for people to have multiple different meanings, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Which is beautiful,
yes.
Because Tupac Shakur's mother said, Afeni Shakur said, I just want to be the spark to the flame of change.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you get to control the flame.
Right.
You just get to be the spark.
Right.
And whatever comes out of that spark is for you. You know what I mean?
Like the scripture say, you plant the seed, somebody else going to come and water, somebody else going to come and till the soil, somebody else is going to come and bring the sun. All I'm responsible for is my portion in that.
Yeah.
And in the, you know, being an artist and in the fashion industry, you have to be so true to yourself. I remember when I first moved back to Louisiana, I was going to do an art exhibit, and I was telling this.
Shout out to the booth. Shout out to the
booth.
booth.
Yeah, shout out to the booth. I was telling Brian Benoit. He just passed away. He owned the gallery, amazing artist in Louisiana.
One moment from Mr. Benoit.
Yes, much love, Joy. It's his wife. And I was telling him about, I say, hey, this is what God is telling me to do. I'd never shown my work anywhere out there yet. I just decided myself that I was, okay, somebody might want this. But I told him, I say, this is what God is leading me. And it was so controversial that he said, if you do this, you will never show your work here again. But I know what God was calling me to do. And so I hadn't been offered to show my work anywhere, but I knew it was coming, because normally when God gives me something, He gives me, prepare me before it arrives.
Right.
So, and sure enough, got a call, hey, did you come set up an exhibit for Creole Culture Day? Of course. He didn't ask me what it was going to be about, and I did exactly what God asked me to do. God told me to do. And I had a big poster, you know, set up right here. You read it before you come in, and it was extended hands, and it was just about walking a mile in my shoes. And I took a lot of the old, really popular photographs. I don't know if you remember, there's one with two black people hanging from the tree, and then the white people's underneath the tree, one's pointing up. That was a really famous photo back in the day. So I blew that one up on poster, repainted it. And I had white people hanging from the tree and black people underneath. Remember, this was walk a mile in my shoes. And then I did another one. I had a big thing on there where I pull out an old thing, blacks for sale. The black man had the chain around him and the white man had to hold it. I redid it. Same thing, left them side by side. Repainted every last one. In every painting I did, and I had another painting I did. And the title was, I Raised a Proud Black Man. For me, I don't know what God was up to, but I followed it. And to me, it was like introducing, saying, hey, this is us. We are not this. This is the new, who you have to deal with now. And I raised a proud black man. He's been speaking. He can talk to anybody, any language. Yes.
Shout out to my brother.
No fear, no intimidation from him, from anybody. And I don't know why. And I say that to say this, that I could have said, okay, and played the game.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't do that. If you're gonna do something in life, you have to follow your calling.
Yeah.
And you can't do it, I can't do it your way.
Yeah.
Because your way was for you.
Come on now.
So I have to follow God's leading and do it my way, even though the whole town is saying, don't do it, you know. Or everything is in you is saying, hey, this could get whatever. You know, it's all about trusting Him and being true to what's in you.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, right? Because I went to film school. Shout out to Newark Film Academy. And one of my movies I did was called Evolution of Slavery. Okay. Shout out to my brother Jeff Akoff. You know what I mean? Appreciate you for being in this movie, right? And I wanted to take us on a journey of when we were slaves, when we became business partners, to the end of our lives. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a famous TV show called Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
And in Highlander, when someone cuts off your head, you take off their energy, their power, and you transfer. And then there's another show called Quantum Leap,
Mm-hmm.
where certain situations happen, and then you leap through the quantum physics to
Right.
different periods of time.
Right.
So in this film, I wanted to go from slavery to business owner to our death, and I had all the characters stay the same. And so it was funny how people said, "Don't do it,"
Mm-hmm.
but then when I did it, I won.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, again, I did a movie called A War on Friendly Grounds,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about my life. And it was about
Mhm.
the day I got wrongfully assaulted by the police in my military uniform,
Right.
and how I went from wrongfully facing 10 years in jail to being where I am right now.
Right.
The school said, "Don't do it, don't this, don't that." It's funny how sometimes life has to tell you no to see if you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want what you want bad enough, or will you allow someone else's no to stop you from being in your divine purpose?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not deeply rooted within yourself, then when the wind blows,
When the
you'll
wind
fall over.
blows, yes.
But when you're deeply rooted
Yes.
in what I call God, or I call a creator, when you're
Mhm.
deeply rooted in something bigger than you know how to stand 10 toes when don't nobody
Mhm.
else believe in you.
Mhm.
See, crazy is only crazy until you're proven right.
Mm-hmm.
So all that, don't do it, don't this, don't that.
Mhm.
As soon as I started winning all these
Yes.
different film festivals,
Yes.
the same people that said don't do it wanted to attach
Right.
themselves
Right.
to the win.
Right.
And they wanted to be a part of the win.
Right.
See, the no's will come. The no's will want to be part of the celebration when you start to celebrate. The question is, can you believe yourself in the process of the no's in order to get to the yeses that you
Mhm.
say that you want in life?
Mm-hmm.
Jim Rohn says 3 feet from gold. A lot of us fall 3 feet from gold because what we want is on the other side of the no. The question is, can you be disciplined and consistent in order to get to where you want to be? And I say this on every show, but this is important. You'll never find a dictionary where you'll find success before sacrifice, failing, opportunity,
Mhm.
consistency,
Mhm.
and discipline.
Mhm.
Because those are the ingredients to success. Because you got to be consistent, you got to have discipline, you got to take advantage of the opportunity, you got to be willing to sacrifice in order to get the success that you claim you want.
A goal
right?
and a plan. Yep, absolutely.
And that's why
Absolutely.
this brings me to this question. In your discovery of your artistry, I know you went through your no, and you did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
How did you discover, you in the midst of all of your no's? How did you discover you?
You know, I have to say everything that I do is honestly filtered through the lens of my sons.
love it.
You know, I am so conscientious that I want him to always be proud of me. I don't never want him to be ashamed of me. You know, and so for me to, and I discuss everything with him, and so for me to sit there and have him hear me say, these people are telling me, no, don't do this, but God is telling me this, and for me to choose, I will risk humiliation before I set that example before him.
Hold on. Y'all know what time it is? That's a mark. Alright, y'all know that's crazy. Because a lot of people don't understand what she just said. So I'm going to have you say that one more time for the people in the back of the church who might have missed that powerful message that you just said. Can you say that one more time, please? Because I need that for me.
No, I said I would risk the humiliation.
Mm.
You know, before, see, you first understand this. My son, I've always believed that, and that this is for your child, your wife, your parent,
Mhm.
your neighbor. I always believe God is going to say, what did you do with what I give you? You know, a lot of times we read the Bible studies, and I know this wasn't a Bible study class, but a lot of times we read the Bible and we're looking at these like they're stories as if God is telling us, or it was meant to tell us his life story. No, it was meant to tell us what his life produced. He produced this, and he produced a seed that produced that. Yes.
I just want to thank you, Father.
Yes, I just want to thank you, Lord. So yes, and so walking and everything I do is from that kingdom perspective.
Come on.
It really is.
Sometimes we got to learn how to straighten up our crown.
Sometimes your crown is crooked because your halo is crooked because your horn's in the way.
Hello.
But we not gonna get
Hello.
there.
Sometimes you can't straighten up your crown because your horns are in the way. You know, I had Ashley Legal Queen, the homie, she was on the show, and I said, do you know how you get to your truth? She's like, what? I said, by being honest about your lies.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you gotta go over there and get in your pile of lies and start pulling all the weeds out of your
Yes,
garden in
out
order
of
to
your
get back
own.
to your truth. Because we've lied so much that we don't know who we are because now our lie has become our truth. It's funny how.
You know why?
Yeah, what's
But
up?
one of the things I say this because I see everybody searching. Who am I? Who am I? You cannot gonna find yourself on Facebook or Instagram. That's not who you are. Your likes are not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not. You gotta internally. You gotta know yourself, and you're not gonna know yourself if you don't know your creator.
See, I told people this when I went to UCLA. Shout out to Z for the amazing opportunity to speak at UCLA to her students. I said, when did your value get put in a like button, a heart button,
Mm-hmm.
a share button?
Mm-hmm.
When did a counter that you don't even know is real or not
Right.
determine your worth?
That part.
Do you not know who you are before you ever post it? And whether someone likes it or not, all you need is the one right one.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of having 1 million views and 1 million followers with no impact?
Yeah.
I would rather have impact over the views. Of course, do I want views? Of course. But the views is not more important than the impact.
Yes.
Because if when I impact the right one will
Mm-hmm.
open up doors that will take me to a level that views have never
Exactly.
taken me.
Exactly.
And I would rather do that
Exactly.
because don't get me wrong, you get money from views, but sometimes views can be 30 pieces of silver.
I rather quality than quantity.
feel me?
Any day.
Any day of the week. Any.
Empty day.
So I love that. Let me ask you this because it's funny how God be moving sometimes. When you design your artwork or when you make your clothes, how do you want people to feel? What energy do you put into the work that you want your customers to take away from when they have a piece from you?
Let me say this. I did a painting years ago. It was and it was called Washed Away.
Mm-hmm.
And all it was an abstract painting, but you can see that there was a little girl in there. You can see a powder puff, but it was all dripping.
Mm-hmm.
And the write-up behind the painting was, "This is a moment in time."
Mm.
Imagine a little girl who was bullied all day in school.
Mm-hmm.
She ran straight home, straight to a room and looked in the mirror.
Mm.
And she could hear what they were saying about her. But then she remembered what she learned in Sunday school.
Mm.
About herself. And in the picture there was little angels all through them, but you had to see them, you had to find them.
Mm.
And then she started to hear the angels sing, "Look what the Lord has made.
Mm.
Let us rejoice."
And I'll be glad in it.
And everything just started to melt away. And that's what the picture was. It was showing all this money. And
Wow.
that's how I want women and men to feel. I told the models, God say, sit them down and let them listen to, because I put them off the street. Sit them down, let them listen to the words that they're going to be walking to. And the guy came and he said, "Miss Revine, I have chills."
Talk about it.
I want them to feel, when they put on them clothes, all the negativity, everything they've ever heard about them. I want it all to just wash away and let them see the true beauty.
Yeah, I
The
love
beauty
that.
that I see
It reminds me of in the good book, it says you want to renew your mind daily.
daily.
And how you can renew your mind. I know my goal is to have people fall back in love with themselves.
Exactly.
Like, I believe love
Exactly.
is the ultimate language.
It
But
is.
if God is love and love is God, then that means someone has to play the role of the bad guy, right?
Mm,
So if I knew if I could keep you from loving yourself,
absolutely.
then I could keep you from getting to your purpose of who you become, because I can see who you could become. So it's my job to create distractions.
And make a mockery of what you were supposed
Right.
to be. Yes.
So if I can deceive you out of your purpose, that's why Les Brown always says the richest place is the graveyard from all the unborn ideas. If I can trick you out of becoming who you are, it wasn't that I stopped you, it was that you allowed me, or you allowed a moment, you allowed these broken pieces of the puzzle never to be put together again. Because if you ever sat still in your brokenness and loved your brokenness and realized that you are perfectly imperfect and there is power in your brokenness and the broken pieces of your puzzle, even the lost discovery of a piece that you're missing, when you finally get all these pieces back together again, you will realize that you have always been the one since the day you were born. You are handcrafted, you are unique, you are a masterpiece,
Absolutely.
you are one of a kind.
Everything you need is right inside of you.
But a lot of us have been tricked because I'm too busy looking at your painting. I'm too busy looking at your
But see,
painting.
the enemy, I believe, had always had two goals: one, to separate man from God, and two, to separate man from woman.
Mm-hmm.
God say, and we know, and thank God for the blood of Jesus, and that's the gap for that, and we can talk about that another time. But I do want to talk about separating man from woman.
Mm-hmm.
And you can look back as far back as we can go, even putting women under their feet. Mm-hmm. and keeping them in a subservient position from the beginning of time. But if you look in the Bible, remember, can't think of his name, but he died. He had 5 daughters. Okay. And they went to Moses and say, hey, my daddy died, we want our land. He didn't have no sons. Mm-hmm. And he looked all over, tried to find, because people say 10 commandments, but we know there were actually a total of 613 commandments total that were given. So Moses went through all of this trying to find it, and he couldn't find nothing. And he said, so he went to God. And God said, they are right. Mm. Give them their land and put this in the record so that it will be known that I make no difference between man and woman. Remember, God said, let them have dominion. Let us make them in our likeness. When you get a man and a woman together that's on fire together, the power, they call them power couples. Yeah. They are unstoppable, and the devil knew that. And so now I can't keep women under the men's feet anymore, because they had the women movement and the women and we got feminism. Okay, well, let me just slip in there while the women are here saying I don't need no man. Mm-hmm. Let me just jump in there. And now now we got the woman who don't need the man, and the man who the woman don't need me. I'm with the man, and the man with the man, and the woman with the woman. But now he got a problem.
Now he's got confusion.
No, but now he got a problem. Yeah. There's still guilt.
Yeah.
They're doing it, but they still guilty about it. Okay, let's do this. Let's just swipe the gender out. You don't have to feel, you don't have a gender. Everybody, he wants man and woman separated, because when we come together, when you got a man in the man position and a woman being a woman and God is being the head, they are unstoppable.
Yeah, there's power in unity.
And then they produce. Mm-hmm. We won't hear their story, we'll hear about what they produce.
Yeah, I love that. Since we went to the Bible, I remember the story of Adam and Eve. Mm-hmm. And there's a joke I always tell when I have like men and women around, and we're just having like a motivational conversation or speaking conversations, and that's it. And I said, and most people know this, when Adam and Eve ate from the apple or the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, whatever you like to call it, right? And that's why men have Adam's apples. Okay. Right? So I always tell this joke, right? I said, how come God didn't come down when Eve ate from the tree of knowledge or ate the apple? Okay. Right? Why did God only come down when Adam ate from the apple or the tree of knowledge or ate the apple? Well, that's because the covenant wasn't between God and Eve.
That's right.
The covenant was between
Adam.
The head. And the first thing that we did was, he said, well, it's this woman you gave me. Mm-hmm. And we've been blaming y'all ever since. You know, and then sometimes as men, bro, we get egotistical. Well, I want you to be submissive. Submission is a gift, fellas. It's a gift. It's not that you demand it, because you have to show a person what submission looks like. How are we supposed to be the leader and we don't go first? So who are we supposed to be submissive to? So if we're being submissive to the one who created us, and we're giving that example, then she'll know how to follow and be submissive. Not because you're demanding it or you're forcing her to do it. It's because we actually created space where she wants to be submissive, because we showed her what it looked like first. That's what leaders do. Leaders go first. We just don't demand. And I think somehow we've been manipulated, you know what I mean, in our masculinity, where one, we have just demanded things and we don't live in what we're demanding. But if we start giving the coordinates to what it looks like, then people will want to follow the leader. You feel me? So that's just something that we can do better, especially me as a man as well, that I continuously work on, but wanted to continue to acknowledge as well, you know, when it comes to that area. What do you want your legacy to be?
You know, I've been thinking about that lately. You know, I've been having the health issues with the Takotsubo, and if I may take a second to talk about that. For those who don't know, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy is, they call it also the heartbreak syndrome. And it's called Takotsubo because when you have a Takotsubo episode, your heart swells, and it swells into the shape of the Japanese octopus trap called the takotsubo, and that's why it's called. And that's why they can distinguish exactly what type of heart condition you have, heart attack you're having. Well, for me, for those who don't know, the heartbreak syndrome, the takotsubo happens every time I am deeply distressed. My heart swells into that, the left ventricle, into that shape, and I go into cardiac arrest. And so my husband passed away, my mother passed away. That's when I realized I had this condition. I had a heart attack, and I have no blockage, nothing wrong with my heart. It's just my body is wired to, if I get too depressed or great. So, and then last year when I lost my husband, I've had 3 since then. So my legacy, if anything, I want people to know that you have a God that loves you more than anything or any man could ever love you, any woman can have. Mama don't even love you that much. You have a God that created you, and He has a purpose for you. Every single one of us. And there is nothing that you can do that can stop that love. Nothing that can separate from the love of God. So no matter what you're going through, even with me, I refused to. My son was, he was upset because my hand was swollen and from all the needles and everything. And I just had to tell him, baby, I don't have time to be upset. I still have an arm.
Yeah.
I'm too busy being grateful. I don't have time to have a pity party and feel sorry because there's too many blessings.
Come on.
I am blessed and highly favored. Husband gone, blessed and highly favored. Heart barely holding on, blessed and highly favored. To live is Christ and to die is gain. And until the day I close my eyes, I will say this: glory and honor to His holy name.
See, I love that, right? Because I won't give you more than you can bear. Obviously, He knew that you could handle what you went through. How can you say that, King, so casually? Because you're still here. You know how many people aren't here? You know how many people wish they were alive to even have your type of problems?
Yeah.
You're still able to create.
Yeah.
You're still able to be an amazing mom. You're still able to do this amazing work.
It's all about perspective.
It's all about perspective. So it's all about our emotional intelligence.
And we were just talking about that. When people ask me, is the glass half empty or half full? My glass is full. Matter of fact, it's a bowl. I've been squeezed. The oil is, there's enough oil has been pressed out of me that if the glass is full, running over there to put it in the bowl. It's not half full or half empty.
People are allowed to get the
It's
overflow.
full to the rim. Yes.
People are supposed to get the overflow.
I am blessed and highly favored.
I think that society has conditioned us to think that we are whatever they say we are. And when you allow other people to program you, then you're going to have a virus running through your system.
But
because it's not you.
The Bible said the truth will set you free. If you're not walking in your truth, then all these other things are distractions.
Yeah,
the truth is, okay, God's got me. Oh, but this is such and such and such. That's the distraction. That's not my truth.
See, I was talking.
It's life is real, but it's not my truth. My truth is God got me.
I was having this dope conversation with a friend, right? And we were talking about pastors. And I was like, I respect the church and I have nothing but respect for what it is, but that's not a church. That's a sanctuary, first and foremost.
Right.
My body is the church.
Right.
1, 2. If no man can get you into heaven but you, not your pastor, not your mama, not your sister, not your brother, not your cousin, you can't do no IOU, you can't do EBT.
Right.
It's you. So if I have to have my own relationship, why am I dependent for everyone else outside of me going to the source when I have free access to the source?
But that's what people mess up. Now, you may, when I walk in church on Sunday morning, I've already talked to God all week. I already know what. So when a preacher speaks, he's just confirming. All I expect him to do, because God can talk to every single body in the church at the same time, and everybody got a different issue and a different story. But for me, when I come in there, I expect him to confirm everything I've talked to God about this past week and be right on point. I say that because I've been behind the pulpit. So I know that God is so serious about his people that he wake you up at 3 in the morning. I need you up, get in your word because I need you to say this. So I tell the pastor, I appreciate you because I know if I'm calling on God, he's calling on you.
I have so my mom, she was in the pool.
I love her. Hey, Shirley.
Shout out to my beautiful mother.
Yes.
Jokes I remember when you used to be in the pulpit like this, Bob. I'm just
Stop.
Just jokes.
Stop.
You know I love you. I started working on me and my relationship instead of me and religion. Because I feel like people have titles but they don't have relationships.
Well, the church is mess. We mess people up.
Yeah, and so for me, when it comes to that, I'm not saying that everyone doesn't have a role to play. What I am saying though is I'm the main character in my movie of life. And if I'm dependent on character B, C, D, and F to do all the work, then I'm not doing the work that I need because no one else can get me there. My work, what I did, my story. Not because Johnny said and and all these other characters become the excuses because I didn't do what I was supposed to do for me. My own research, my own studying, my own praying, my own walk, my own me. And I feel like once we start getting more of me, then it's okay to have the fellowship. It's okay to have all these other things to concern. But if you don't, how can you just have fellowship but you don't have you? You know what I'm saying? Even if fellowship is fellow, which is singular, first, you. Fellowship, you have to bring yourself to the fellowship. Testimony, your test, not everyone else's test, but your testimony. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, in this journey, in this walk, in this understanding, I want to get a better version and understanding of me, because if we're talking movies, I'm Neo in the Matrix. I've always been the one. Neo was always the one in the movie from the beginning. The problem is Neo was distracted. Neo didn't believe. And until Neo stopped being distracted and until Neo started believing and taking action, he stayed the same. But when he started believing in himself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's fighting with the guy.
Do you know how powerful you would be if you actually loved yourself? If you actually believed in yourself, if you actually stood 10 toes in yourself, do you know where you would go and who you would become? Because sometimes people can see your potential and will trick you because they don't want to see you move further than them. They don't want, because they don't know how to love themselves, they'll try to trick you out of loving yourself. Because I can see your talent, I can see your gift, I can see where you're going, I can see all these things about you, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
That's right.
And until you learn your superpower, until you, X-Man, all these mutants had powers, right? And in the beginning, they had to discover all these different powers. Well, are you running into Magnetos or are you running into Professor X's?
Right.
Because they saw the potential of the mutants, and they tried to harness their potential for their reasoning or for their goals. So my question is, what Professor X or what Magneto do you have in your life that is using your potential because you can't see your own potential? And until you learn your own potential, you will always be a slave to someone else's usage of what your potential is.
Yes, who was it? I'm the captain of my ship. I'm the
yes.
I forgot the poet name, but he said, you know, I'm the captain. I'm the captain of my ship. We have become, to me, so lazy. You'll even call somebody, come pray for my. I'm not coming to your house to lay hands on your children. No, your children don't need me to lay hands on them. They need you to open up your mouth and say, sit down. No, you're not going to. I'm not asking you if you're going to church on Sunday. I'm telling you, get dressed. Dwayne never had a choice. Dwayne just knew Sunday morning he was already getting dressed for church. It was just, see, you cannot live any kind of way and have all hell going on in your house and expect God to be blessing it.
Yeah.
You cannot. It does not work like that. God is it's a participation. You know, it's both God working with me and me working with God. I don't expect God to come and fight every battle and do, now God take this leg, now God move this leg, now God move this. He don't have to walk like that for me.
It's funny, like
He just showed me the way.
I was arguing with God, right? Because we have our little arguments, our little spats, our little back and forth, and he was like, "Excuse me, King, I've done my part. My work is done. What about yours? You have these dreams, but in order to access these dreams, they have requirements. do you meet the requirement of what you're asking for? You're just begging for me to give it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if I did give it to you, the same thing that you asked me for could actually kill you because you
Right.
wasn't ready.
Right.
Why do we cry about the process of greatness if we say we want greatness? In order to be great, there's a process and a requirement to be great.
Absolutely.
Because greatness comes with the weight.
To
And
whom much is given,
much
much
is
is
required.
required.
And I always ask this question: how heavy are your dreams?
Yes.
Because if you could just lift it up by yourself, are you dreaming big enough? Your dreams should be so freaking big that you feel like you need the help. But guess what? You know how a gym works? You have to show up every single day in order to get the consistency, to get the strength that you want.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody want to work with God.
Nobody
Nobody
wanna
want
be
to work
consistent.
for it.
Nobody
Not
wanna do the
even
work.
in their own lives. You
Yeah.
gotta come and take me, bring me this, and take me there,
Yeah.
and fill this out for me. I mean, we have become so
I agree.
lazy,
I agree.
and we're prone to excuses. We love to hide behind. If we could find a reason to, I'm talking about my people now. I'm talking to us. I'm praying on us. Now, don't get me wrong. I love all people. I'm not a power to the black people and black people only. I love all people because God is the creator of all people. He is not just a black God. You black Israelites, he is everybody's God. So I say that to say this. But the black community, I'm speaking to us because we have some real problems that we're gonna have to come together as a community in faith.
I think when it comes to that, right, I think it goes back to the ultimate source, self-love.
Always.
Because when you don't have self-love,
Always.
it creates a hole in your heart. And we all feel this hole or this sunken place with whatever our choice is.
Yes.
Sex, drugs,
Yes.
money, whatever this absence is, right? And until we can start filling this hole with love and self-love and mercy and forgiveness and patience and kindness and all these different things that it takes to stitch this, right? We'll always be broken pieces. So, but here's a funny thing about the broken pieces. That's where the growth is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what shapes
If you allow it, because it can break you as well.
But that's
If you allow
but that's
it.
the thing, though. A puzzle comes broken.
Yes.
But in order to put a puzzle together again, you have to sit still
Yes.
and
See the
start
vision.
putting these pieces one at a time to figure out what the whole picture looks like.
Okay.
But we're lazy, like you were saying, so we don't spend enough time with ourselves to look at all these different pieces of the puzzle in order to figure out what this beautiful picture could be. But
And
if you
I
did,
think-
you
go
would see
ahead.
yourself at the end of the
Always.
day. You would see
Always.
yourself.
Always.
Your reflection is waiting on you. Your
Always.
greatness is waiting on you. And I feel like sometimes our broken pieces could be our 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever your age is, whatever that broken piece is from a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like until you confront that, you're just carrying things. You know, you're carrying
I tell
luggage.
people all the time, don't be so hard on it. It's like, oh, I hate the person I was in back. Don't be so hard on that person.
Yeah.
Because, and this is how I feel about it, because I know I've been through a lot of traumatic things. And I go back and you have to tell this person thank you. You were tore
That's
from
the
the
bar.
floor up.
That's
Yes.
the bar. And
But you survived, and because you survived, I'm here. You have to go back and tell her thank you.
yeah, 100%.
First and foremost, and then let her know you didn't know. You all right. You did what you could. Whatever you got to say to yourself. But I always tell them, don't hate that person. Thank them.
because that version of you allows you to become the version
Yes.
you are.
Yes.
today.
If they hadn't survived whatever they survived and grew from it, I would not be here. But I am, and I was telling her, I am my biggest critic and my own assassin. I could be in the mid, have a thought, and I would tell myself, find her, kill her, wherever that can, kill her. I'm on me. Though you don't have to beat me up, I am so on me. I am.
Yeah.
Really, 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 really am.
I love that.
You have to be.
Last question. If there's any advice that you could give to a young lady or to a listener, what would you say?
Well, if I'm talking to a young lady, I'm gonna give her some specific advice for a young lady than
Okay.
just your listener.
Do you think?
What they say, how did it go? Young woman, your arms are too short to box with God.
Mhm.
If someone wants to support you, find your artwork, find your social media, how can they find your website? What is your Instagram? How can they follow you? And how can we be a part of whatever you got going on with your story and testimony?
Okay, and I can always be found, Revina Amos. And you can go to my store online. It's RevinaLovesGary.com. And my name is Revina, R-E-V, as in victory, I-N-A. So it's RevinaLovesGary.com. That'll take you straight to my online store. And Revina Amos is my IG and Facebook.
Love that. And it's your boy, King Jacquel Martin, back with another episode of Whispering to Your Soul. You'll find me on IG at KingJaquelMartin, or you could just follow the show at Whispering to Your Soul, spelled just the way it sounds. And we're on Spotify, TikTok, and all social media platforms. Appreciate y'all.